Looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Raini Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad, so he can take me to Disneyland.
Well, happy Sunday morning, folks. Welcome to the very casual version of the Intrepid radio program right here on my YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Mr. Scotty Roberts. You won't find this show over on Odyssey Radio, but during the week, Monday through Friday, 9 p.m. Well, that's interesting. Oh, my stream just blacked out for a second. I have no idea what that is. I thought I left all those problems behind in the makeshift studio in Louisiana. Now, apparently, we still have a couple of those glitches going on here. We are hardwired to the internet. We're not wireless, so we'll see how we hold up today. So welcome to the show. And as you know, Sunday mornings is very casual. It's just more a coffee time, and we talk and we chat. Raini is usually here with me, but the last couple of Sundays, she's had massages to do over at the Water Street Inn in Stillwater, Minnesota. And that is what's going on with her this morning. She had to take off about a half an hour ago. She had a 9:30, well, maybe 15, 20 minutes ago. She's a 9:30 massage that's, I think it's an hour and a half. She might turn into 2 massages, depending on if her partner makes it there for this one or not. Now, they do couples massages side by side. And if one of them can't make it, then the other one's left, and they do 2 of them back to back. So it all depends. So she might be here. She won't be here before we end this program today. So that's why the little intro with Raini, you got to at least see her presence here, even though she's only here in spirit. And she's tired, she's stressed out, she's anxious. My wife has anxieties. And so when we're in the midst of looking for a new car, looking for a new place to live by the end of August, all of those things, waiting to hear from some of our loans. So we got messages back and a letter back from our USDA loan. And they said, you're just missing a couple of things. And she actually called me the other day. And she said, if you could your taxes weren't signed, that we had to turn in for our 2019 and 2020 taxes. And so because we filed them electronically, and we sent copies of them from H&R Block. And H&R Block, by the way, I've done my taxes online and filed electronically for like the last 10 years. And it's always been good to us. So, so we have to sign those things, little things like that. And we have to send a couple of 1099s that we're missing and things like that. And then they want us to show our income for this year so far, to show what we've made, to show that we're trending back upward after the COVID year. As many of us and a lot of people who lost work last year, many freelancers like me and massage therapists like Raini, they didn't deem her massage therapy as essential until much later in the game, toward the end of last year. And so our income took a big slump last year, and it's building back up. It's doing better. And so it's just all that fun stuff you got to do. And then, of course, when the car breaks down, the new Ford Flex, new used Ford Flex broke down last week. That's they were giving us a $6,000 tab to fix it. And because what happened, the coolant, those of you mechanics, coolant leaked into the oil, coolant throughout the whole system. So they either had to take apart the whole engine and put in new parts and clean it all up, and tab about $6,000, or they had to put a whole new engine in it, which was roughly the same price. And they had already done $1,800 worth of work on the vehicle because we had the whole coolant system. Something snapped in there, so they fixed that before they could find out what was wrong with the engine. And then once they took it all apart, they found all those problems. So we just signed the title over to them and to cancel out the $1,800, so we don't have to pay $1,800 and then also have to go buy a new car. So that's what we're in the throes of now. And we're looking for a good used car. If you have one that'll seat a family of 5 and haul some stuff too, let me know. So my wife is, all that to say, my wife's a little stressed out these days. I don't think she has to be stressed out. But, there are different personalities. My wife has an anxiety. What do you call them? You don't want to say problems or issues, but Raini has, and she'll admit that. She's got anxieties, and so all this stuff just throws her, and she's totally off kilter these days. So wish her the best. Raini needs a Xanax, says Roger Rabbit. Good morning, Roger. And a bowl of God's good green. Yeah, she does. Problem with her, with the God's good green is it makes her heart race for some reason. And so she has laid off of that completely. And but now these iron infusions she's getting, she's finding that might have had something. Her iron or ferritin was very low. So if you have problems with that kind of thing, ferritin, that's all these infusions you see her getting. Every week she'll post a photo from sitting there for an hour and a half getting these infusions. And she's only got a couple left, I think. And that should bring her all back up to normal levels. She said something about, hey, hair loss can be caused by low ferritin levels. So I was at my doc this week, just a standard. I hadn't seen him since before I went to Louisiana. He just wanted to do a checkup on my diabetes and on my heart stuff. And I checked out A-OK. And I asked him about that. I said, hair loss, ferritin. He goes, well, let me check your ferritin levels from all your blood test work you've had. And he says, you're pretty normal on everything. So I'm just losing my hair. That's all. One of these days, I'll be coming on the show with a bald head because after it starts to get so bad, I'm just going to shave my head. So I'm tired of growing bald. Where's all my cool hair? I miss my hair. So anyway, there it is. It is what it is. So hey, Audrey, good to see you. Glad you're here. Steph, I haven't seen you for a while. She says, I'm driving, but I'm popping in to tell you I'm listening. Mushies, she says. So it's good to see you this morning, Steph. Doug Stack, glad you're here, brother. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Nice new van you have there. I'd take one of those. And there's Rowan hiding behind my logos. Hi, Rowan.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good.
Mom's not here, so Rowan's here today. So what's going on? Nothing. Got your Supernatural shirt, your your Dean and Sam Supernatural shirt.
I won $10.
Where'd you win $10?
The scratch off.
Oh, scratch off. You sure you won $10?
Yeah, because I got 5 because I got I and I were matching. And then I got 3 words. And then 5 was 5.
So who taught you to gamble like that? Mom. Yeah. Steele says, hey, good morning, Steele. God only created a few perfect heads. The rest, she covered with hair. Bald brothers unite. That's great, Steele. Yeah, maybe I'll be joining the Perfect Head Club soon. I don't know. When I feel my head, I got so many divots and dings and bumps on my head.
Or
It's
you
like-
have no hair.
Or I have no hair at all. So I think if I shaved my head, it would look like, I don't know, like a bowling ball you rolled down a rocky cliff. So that's what I think it would look like.
Wait, so you would chop off your head and go bowling with it?
Yeah, I could do that. Look, you got the 2 finger holes and the thumb hole. You could go bowling with my head.
Ew.
You was right. You're hiding behind my stuff over there. Gotta get closer if you want your face to show. So
Why is this so creepy?
that's the coffee. That's Andy's coffee company, Hell's Head Coffee. And for bikers, he kind of had a biker theme to his coffee company. So she's asking about the logo that's over there on the side, right over there. So continue saying good morning to people. I saw Elderberry in here earlier. Good to see you. And Matthew Sainsbury, you were in quite early. There's Master Finn. Don't mess up my hair. It's only compositionally correct in one position. So let's see. And I just got the fingernail polish off that Ellie put on me yesterday. Can I want to do your fingernails? Okay. She did my fingernails. They were black. Kind of a deep midnight bluish black that with iridescent sparkly.
Dad,
Then Rainey and I had to go somewhere yesterday, and I was like, and it took me about 15 minutes to get that stuff off. Yes? Audrey says, hey, Rowan, Dean is my favorite Winchester, she said. That's actually Rowan's favorite Winchester, too. We had a big cutout. She got one Christmas 3 or 4 years ago. She got a big life-size cutout of Dean Winchester, cardboard stand-up. And
you know how you were talking about having nail polish on your nails?
yeah.
Mom knows how to do acrylic nails, and she's giving me acrylic nails today.
Oh, boy. That's all you need is acrylic nails. What do you do with acrylic nails when you're 9 years old?
You stab people with them when they try to kidnap you.
9-year-old
Back up.
nails. It's a new band. So I had a college art teacher, says Scott Allen, who had his nails painted black. That's if you ever look at Ruben Fasthorse when he comes on the show, you notice he's got black nails too. That's what he does. So nothing wrong with that. I only knew Charles Emerson Winchester III from MASH. Says Scott Allen. Yes, that's the only Winchester he knows. If you haven't watched Supernatural, you ought to. It's a pretty good show. Some of it gets a little campy, but it's not bad. Those writers, when they got into the whole angel and demon mythology for seasons on that show, they knew something behind the scenes. So let's see. Ben, what is this that Roger Rabbit says? Bandanas are super cheap right now. I've been wearing one lately to keep my luscious hair out of my eye. Luscious hair. Yeah, shut up. Works for bald brothers and hairy bros alike. Hey, Susie Q. Good to see you. I don't know where Field Guy is this morning, Susie. Audrey, I have not watched the season finale. As a matter of fact, I haven't seen any of the final season for some reason. We used to tune it in all the time, and we've missed it. Now, I saw it yesterday at the store. You can buy the DVD, the 4K Ultra, Blu-ray, blah, 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 pack of the 15th and final season of Supernatural. I almost bought it.
Did they stop making
And Rainey will say to me,
Supernatural?
why'd you buy that? You can watch it on TV. What?
Did they stop making Supernatural?
Yep, it's all done.
Why?
Because they did 15 years. And they were kind of, I don't know, either wanted to quit while they were ahead or
old?
just be done.
Do they look old like you now then?
That's really funny and cute. Yeah. I'm glad you're hiding behind the logos. And so don't want to break my camera with that ugly little face.
Then you need to get your face out of here because you're gonna break it.
Mine's just older. I don't know where your hands have been. So, ick. So, let's see who we got in here. There's Darth, says Susie Q. Darth is Remeldian, if you see him, unless he came in under Darth today. Susie Q. If you see Remeldian come in, that's Darth. And if that's who you're talking about. Rockin' Randall Hank. I don't know who that is. Doink. What else we got? Who else we got in here today? Elderberry, I said, hey. Matthew Sainsbury, good to see you. And ahoy, me brother Doug. Matt says to Doug Stack, who got a new minivan. Pretty cool. You get used to it, Scotty, says Doug. My head is shaped weird. I've been shaving it for 20 years. Yeah, if I shave my head, I think I'm going to have to tan it then or something. Go to the tanning bed or something. Do tanning beds even exist anymore? Can you go do that? I used to do that all the time when I was lifting weights back in the 80s. That's how old that is, how long ago that was. And when I had a full head of dark hair, I used to lift weights in the 80s, and then I'd jump in the tanning bed. So it's when they got the newfangled ones where you could stand up in them. So anyway. So Steph, I think I said hey to you. It's good to see you here today. I'm going to put the link in here if anybody wants to call in this morning and join the conversation. Since Rainey is not here, here's the link. Boom. It's over there in the chat room now. And so you can come on in and you can, if I see you in the wings, we'll bring you in. We'll talk a little bit. And you can bring some topics to the table. Dustin Brill, good to see you, brother. Nice to have you in here. And for Dustin's sake and everybody else who's coming in later, maybe haven't been here before on Sundays, Sunday morning is our casual show. We don't have a whole lot going on. And as far as a formal lesson or anything like that, we'll review some news articles and things. We'll talk about stuff. And sometimes the conversation will just take off on its own. This is, you know what Sunday mornings is? It's coffee time. Coffee time. Happy coffee. That's tasty. Rainey yesterday got me an early Father's Day gift. One of many to come, I'm sure. But it was a new French press because I somewhere along the way, either I dropped it or somebody else dropped it. Big crack in it, and we had to throw it out. And so she got me a new French press. And so it's one of those glass ones with the silver chromy, holder on it and handle and the silver chromy top. And I pulled it out of the box, and I heard a tinkling, and I thought, oh, what's that? And that something metal fell out on the counter, but no, it was the glass. The glass was busted. So we brought it back to the store together yesterday afternoon, and they only had one more on the shelf, and we pulled that off, and we checked it. And sure enough, the plastic on the bottom that the glass settles into is glued to. That was busted. So they had two, and they were both busted. So we'll get another one. She might pick one up today while she's in Stillwater doing massages, after her massages. So I love French press. You guys, we've talked about it before. If you have a French press for coffee, it's where you coarsely ground your bean, and then you once you coarsely ground the bean, you run hot water over it, and boom, boom, boom. Hey, there's Randall Jackson. How you doing, brother?
What's going on, bro?
Met you via phone just yesterday.
Yes, sir.
So glad to have you. You are now live on the show with us, and as you know, Sunday mornings, very casual, and as you can see, and everybody just comes in to talk coffee and talk whatever topics they want to talk. What's on your mind today, brother?
Man, I am glad to be alive, man. Glad to be alive and amongst the living. You know what I mean? Just glad to be alive.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, yeah.
Some days I feel like The Walking Dead, but but I'm glad to be alive too, and being well. Hi again. That's Randall. Did you read his name? Randall Jackson.
Hola, ¿cómo está?
Hola. This is my daughter, Rowan. and she
Hello,
was in here a
Rowan.
little earlier with me
Hi.
because
Yeah, I saw the commentary. What you do with the nails? You stab the people when they try to kidnap you.
there it is. There it is.
And you also got to stab annoying fathers too.
Annoying.
Uh-oh.
Oh gosh, look, you're hidden behind the logos on the screen.
Yeah, my other little logo is Steel, because I'm an avid Pittsburgh Steeler fan.
Oh,
so.
that's you in there. Okay.
Yeah,
I saw
man.
Steel. So glad to have you. And by the way, I'm going to paste this in here one more time. There is the link for anybody who wants to call in today, because it's Casual Sunday. Rainey's not here to keep me in line, and she's off doing massages this morning. So it's just me, folks, today. I have no surrogate wife today. And I'm going to send you back out to do your cartoon stuff.
I'm not watching cartoons.
Whatever.
I'm working out.
Okay, you're working out. Oh, what do you have, the Nordic track going out there?
Yeah, but I have to move all the boxes.
All right. See ya. Bye. Leave the door open, though. It's Sunday morning. We leave the door to the studio open. And that is my sassy daughter, by the way, Randall. That's the one who likes to make comments and likes to be on an adult level, but is only 9 years old. So.
Oh, I understand, man.
Yes,
I understand. Children are a lot more in tune than we give them credit for. You know what I mean?
That's the truth.
They're really in tune. And, it's funny. Sometimes I purposely dismiss them because I'm of age, 58,
Yep.
It's like, okay, you're just a kid. You haven't lived long enough yet. Keep living, son. And then they'll say something that it's like, that's a great point. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. Sometimes they come up with some amazing things.
Yeah.
I remember when I don't know how amazing this is. It's just funny. My now almost 12-year-old son is not a morning person. Folks, you all know that who are listening. Flynn is not a morning person. And we would get him up, and this had to be about 5 or 6 years ago. So he was either 6 or 7 years old, and we're trying to wake him up in the morning for school. Time to get up. He says. And then and finally Rainey came in and she said, God will be very happy if you wake up. She said rather tongue in cheek. And Flynn turns over and he says, "There is no God." So happy good morning. Hey, have some orange juice, son. So now I just bought him. He doesn't like to drink coffee, and I don't know if I want to feed my kids coffee in the morning. But they say that a little caffeine in the system of kids in the morning is actually good for them. It gets their brains going. It gets them ready for school. So something I did with my older kids when they were at home is I got them hooked on chai. And so I bought some chai, black tea. It's got the cinnamon flavors. And all.
Yeah, you don't have to tell me. I love chai.
Love chai?
Oh my God, are you kidding me?
So I'm going to see if I can get them going on a little chai in the morning. And now there's only about 8 days of school left before summer, but getting him up in the morning, that's the thing. Now, the problem is, Randall, my son likes to stay up all night. And we can put him to bed. We can put the mandate down. We can say, if you stay up, if I catch you up again, blah, blah, blah. We can be negative about it. We can give rewards. Hey, you get up in the morning. You know what? You get 50 cents a day for waking up in the morning. He's like, 50 cents. And I'm like, hey, that's $2.50 a week just for getting out of bed without being demonic. And so we bribe him sometimes, but he likes to stay up. There's times I get up, I wake up, I'm an old man. I wake up at 2:15 in the morning. I got to pee. And so I get up and I'm walking around the house and I see my son just downstairs, hands in his pockets, walking around. And I'm like, son, I call over the balcony. I go, son, what are you doing? Nothing. And I say, how come you're still awake? I'm not tired. Go to bed. Go to bed. And he'll sit on devices, or something. And it's like, you're not supposed to have a device in your hands after 8:30 at night, on school nights especially. But he's still out there. He wanted to sleep on the sofa last night. And the only reason he likes to do that, he can turn on the TV. He's got a TV in his room, but we don't let him watch it in there. And we took that privilege away. So it's all disconnected. And he can't connect it up. There's no box in there to connect it up to. And so... isn't that funny, by the way? Just mentioning that you're just about my age. When we were growing up, there was no boxes to connect to your TVs.
Look, we had 1, 2, 3, 4 channels. We had 4 channels, and TV went off at 12 midnight. Okay.
Yep, it went off.
I'm old enough to remember when TV went off.
Okay. And you'd sit up and you'd wait for the Star Spangled Banner to be played.
That's right. That's right.
I guess there's no more TV.
No more TV?
We had 4 channels when I was growing up in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. But on Friday nights and Saturday nights, they always had a thing called Horror Incorporated. And it would start
Creature Feature, something like that.
Creature Feature was the other one.
Yeah,
probably got the same broadcast. Creature Feature I think Horror Incorporated was Friday and Creature Feature was Saturday, or the other way around.
That's right.
But it was at midnight, and I had a paper route for the Minneapolis Star Tribune, and an evening paper route. But we had to do the Sunday morning papers too, and so we had to always get up around 4 o'clock and walk to the paper shack, and you had to compile all the segments of the Sunday paper. Put them in your cart. The Sunday paper was that thick with all the advertisements and all the sections. But we would stay up as kids. We got all that energy. We'd be playing all day. We'd stay up, watch Horror Incorporated, and scare the bejeebies out of ourselves with old black and white horror films in the late 60s and early 70s. And then we would, at about 3 a.m., we'd walk off to the paper shack, and by 4 a.m. get our papers and deliver them. Then we go to bed and get up at like 9.
Oh my God!
And we were ready to roll.
Delivering paper, man, in Minnesota.
Yeah, summers were great. Summers were great. Right. But January, when it was 20 below, it was no fun.
So what was that like? What was that like, man?
Well, first you had those big steel carts. You may have seen, they're 2-wheeled carts made out of, it just looks like a metal cage. They were painted bright yellow, and they had a big handle on the back. So you could take the handle and push it or pull it. It was a 2-wheeler, and almost like a big wheelbarrow. And we'd take them and we'd tie them with twine to the backs of our bikes, and we could ride them that way and drag them around. But in the snow, those things were horrendous. And of course, my mom wasn't going to get up at 4 a.m. and go deliver Sunday morning papers with me. And it wasn't bad. I only had like 30 papers, I think, because I did 1 block. That was it, around one big 1 or 2 block area. And there was always more on Sunday, though. You had like 50 on Sunday.
And they were heavier, much heavier.
Heavy is
very
the word.
Heavy. Oh, yeah, very heavy.
And of course, back then, and I've told this story before, I used to be deathly afraid of the dark. And I was afraid of the dark because I filled my head with aliens and Horror Incorporated and all those things. I was convinced that something was going to lurch out at me from the dark bushes along the side of the road and eat my guts while I was still alive, kicking and screaming. And so we had those curbs, the residential areas where there's no sidewalks, but they have the the asphalt, and then the asphalt curbs, and then grass and yards. And so we walked along, and they had every corner was a big yellowish incandescent light. It had this pool of safety. And so
I would creepy.
It was creepy. And or you'd be walking along and there'd be crickets and everything going, and all of a sudden everything goes silent, and you're like,
That's when it's dangerous.
Movie. I saw this on Kolchak, the Night Stalker. Exactly. But I was so afraid of the dark. Our little house was on a corner lot, and our back door went out into our yard. It was dark. We didn't have, what was a yard light back in the late 1960s? We didn't have a yard light. And so I would jump down off the stoop, and my cart was right there, and I would grab the cart with my eyes closed, and I would run through the dark yard out to the street where the street lamp was on the corner. And I'm like, whew, made it untainted. And then I'd start walking, and because it was dark out, I would close my eyes, and I'd run as fast as I could with that big heavy metal cart behind me, the two-wheeler, till I got into the circle of yellow light from the next corner's street lamp. And then I'd take a breath, and I'd do the same all the way, unless my friend Doug came and picked me up, and, he'd walk over, and we'd go walk together to the paper shack. So we had great conversations for 5th and 6th graders. So,
wow. How many years did you do that?
Not long, a year or two.
Yeah.
I had a big car paper route when I was in between my senior year in high school and my freshman year in college. I did a car route and tried to earn some extra money. So
maybe that led you into the world of advertising.
I think it may have.
Yeah.
And certainly the things I was curious about as a kid, I said in the opening to my book on the Nephilim, in the introduction, I said, I think I spent far too many hours as a kid lying atop my mom's garage with my arms behind my head, looking up at the night stars. So while I was deathly afraid of the dark, I could go up on the garage top and look at the stars. That didn't bother me. And I was big into Star Trek back then, and so I used to daydream. And so my curiosities as a kid, the science fiction, the horror, while it scared me and made me afraid of the dark, it also kindled that initial fire of curiosity about the strange and the unknown and wanting to know things. So, and I always wanted to be a starship captain, so that hasn't happened yet.
So what's your favorite episode of Star Trek?
Oh man, there's
your all-time favorite episode. Like this is my go-to.
Favorite was Amok Time. That's where Spock goes through the Pon Farr, and they have to go to Vulcan, and he and Kirk fight. And and he ends up killing Kirk. He thinks he kills Kirk. And the big emotional outburst for the first time ever on Star Trek by Spock. He's standing there, and they're back on the bridge, and he thinks he's killed the captain. And he says he's laying down all the orders, and he says, I'm going to turn myself in for court-martial, and so I am hereby under arrest. And, so-and-so has the duties. And then Kirk walks out from behind him. He says, don't you think you better check with me first or something like that? And Spock goes, Captain? And then he grabs Kirk by the shoulders and turns him around, and he's smiling. He goes, Jim! Like that. And of course, Bones has to start giving him problems. You were right on an emotional outburst. And I was understandably pleased to see that I had not killed my captain. So, yeah, that was my favorite Amok Time. I always liked This Side of Paradise. The ones with where they go to that planet where everybody's supposed to be dead because of the rays from the supernovaing sun or something, and everybody's alive, but there's no animals or none of that. It's the spores. You remember that? These plants.
Oh yeah, I do.
That was a good one. That was a very good one. And of course, you gotta like
that monster. That monster. I remember the monster that was buff. Looks like he had been working at a ghost gym and had the lizard head.
You're talking about the Gorn. That was the episode.
That dude.
The episode was Arena. Was the name of that episode?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, did you know? Did you ever see? And anybody out there in the chat room too? Randall and I are just having our own little Star Trek conversation. Did you see the ad that came out a year or two ago? And it's promoting, I think, a Star Trek video game, and it's got William Shatner, who's 88 years old or something when they made
wow.
this
Yeah.
and he's on the thing, and I think you hear and sitting next to him is a total recreation in costume of the original Gorn, and he's on his set, and so they're fighting on the game. And then the Gorn, somebody hits somebody and Kirk gives him a chop. He doesn't do his flying drop kick. I don't think he could do that at his age, but he probably could, knowing William Shatner.
I would love to have that game.
Playing the music in the ad. Dun, 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 dun,
Dude,
dun, dun,
you know what's funny? What's funny is that every time I do like a little trivia thing, I say, okay, name this music right here. Dun, 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 dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 and nobody gets it. Nobody
I
gets
know.
it.
I
It's
used
like
to
a Star Trek.
I used to do the Renaissance Festival, and we had a stage show out there that they all started doing this fight on stage, and over the loudspeaker came that dun 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 dun, and so it was great. But Matthew Sainsbury in the chat room says, I saw one where William Shatner went to that was Captain Kirk. That wasn't William Shatner.
Yeah,
Captain Kirk went to some planet, and the Greek god Apollo was chasing his crew. Yeah, that was the one called Who Mourns for Adonis. It was the name of that episode. That's how I was a Star Trek aficionado here. So he was just the guy who played, I can't remember his name, who played Apollo in that show. They did the best ever recreation fan series of Star Trek. The original series was Star Trek Continues. And it was with Vic Mignola and some other guys. They totally rebuilt all the old sets. Vic was the producer of this and the director, and also played Kirk. He looked a lot like the younger William Shatner, except he was a little more buff. And but he was a stickler on all the original lighting, the original music, the camera angles, the sets, and they rebuilt that. And one of their episodes involved the guy who played Apollo, now elderly, was in that episode, and he played the same character. And so go look it up. Star Trek Continues. And just
that's funny, You're either a Trekkie or a person who pulls for Star Wars, or like Michael Jackson or Prince. You know, or in my world, Pittsburgh Steeler or Dallas Cowboy.
There you go. Well,
Polar
for
opposites.
Rocky Stucci was always, what's that Trek Wars show you watch? So, so I'm ignoring the chat room. What's everybody having to say? I saw that episode on MeTV, said Scott Allen, not long ago. The one with the Gorn, or the one with Apollo. Let's see. Even though it doesn't have Kirk, says Susie Q. Oh, the Menagerie. The Menagerie. You remember that episode of the original series? It was the two-parter where Spock they have the old Captain Pike, and he's in the wheelchair, and he can't talk or anything. He's all deformed and disfigured. He can only talk with the beeping lights.
I remember that.
And Spock is taking him back to Talos 5, or is it Talos 4? Talos 5, I think. And he won't give the reasons why. And he's got out. The whole system of the ship is locked down. They do a court-martial of him because he's breaking orders. It was the only planet that had the death penalty attached to it in the Federation for going there. And so he's taking Captain Pike back there. And they keep showing broadcasts, films that they're during the court-martial of the young Captain Pike on Talos 5 and why he had to go there. And of course, many people don't know when they see that was the original pilot series of the pilot for the series. There was no William Shatner. They had Jeffrey Hunter played Captain Christopher Pike, and Leonard Nimoy played Spock, and the woman who ended up being Nurse Chapel in the later series, Majel Barrett, she played number one, the first mate and of the Enterprise, the first officer.
The original Star Trek.
It was the original series premiere or pilot, and they showed it to the network, and the network rejected it, said it was too cerebral for the public mind. And so they gave Roddenberry, this is where Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz came in, Desilu Studios. They gave them the opportunity to do a second pilot. Well, Jeffrey Hunter, his wife was his agent. She saw the money and wanted the money. Jeffrey Hunter was a big screen movie star playing on TV. And so they wanted a ton more money. And so he got turned down, and then he eventually died like in a bus wreck or something. But then they hired William Shatner to play Kirk. And so now one of the new series coming out from Star Trek, starting this fall, I think, it's going to be Star Trek Strange New Worlds. It's the missions of Captain Pike and Spock and Number One on the Enterprise.
Oh, perfect, man.
Perfect. And they've got Anson Mount, who was in, if you ever saw the series Hell on Wheels, where he played kind of a gunslinger and they were building the railroads in the 1860s, 1870s. He's playing Pike, and he played him in the second season of Discovery, Star Trek Discovery, and which is supposed to be a prequel to the Kirk and Spock era. And so that's going to be a fantastic. I'm looking forward to what they're going to do with that.
I was pleasantly surprised with the Star Trek movie.
Yes.
You know, when that thing first came out years ago, I was like, man, that was rocking big time.
I know. And they've done like 12 movies now.
Yeah, seems like.
And then, of course, they have all the new Kirk. Well, they've got for Kirk, Chris Pine played him in the new J.J. Abrams movies. And they did 3 of those, and they've been for the last couple of years just all kinds of behind-the-scenes financial junk, debating whether even another one's going to happen. Now I've heard they're going to do one, but I haven't heard much about it yet. So they got all their issues settled. That's where Zachary Quinto, I don't know why I know these guys' names, plays Spock, and he was handpicked by Leonard Nimoy, and he even looks like Leonard Nimoy.
Oh, wow.
In the old series. You can almost mistake them. So a little younger, a little fleshier than Nimoy was, I think. But
yeah.
So
he's a good actor. I like that guy.
Yes. So Star Trek, yeah, big on. Hey, Durwood, good to see you in the chat room, by the way. And Romeldian is here. DS9 and Enterprise were good series. Voyager was a good series. Now they got Discovery. Discovery's a very different Star Trek. I had heard it put that Discovery is the emo Star Trek.
The emo Star Trek. Really?
A lot of emotional stuff. But it's really well done too. It's the Discovery, which is just at the same time as the Pike and Spock era. And so it's a very interesting series. It's really well done.
Speaking of Star Trek, what are your thoughts on the planet Nibiru? That is so.
I don't know. I don't know enough about it on a level other than knowing something about Sitchin's work and so on, and that's why they've named him that and all that. So I don't know. Is there a 10th planet out there in our solar system that we've now named Nibiru? I think so. I don't think that's any correlation to the mythological Nibiru. But I don't know. I'd have to learn more about it. I've also seen, isn't there that big asteroid they're now calling Nibiru as well? And
I don't know. I hadn't followed that.
I don't know enough about it. Interestingly enough, when you and I are done, I'm going to talk about this leaked UFO. I've got an article up here that there was this leaked video that reportedly shows a swarm of UFOs circling the U.S. Navy combat ship. The Pentagon is investigating it. And you can go watch it. Okay. You can go watch the leaked video over on YouTube now. It must not be that big a deal because the Pentagon or the government hasn't taken it down yet. Apophis is the Apophis, however you pronounce the O, is the asteroid, says Audrey. That's the big asteroid that's coming.
That's funny. That's the big asteroid that's coming. Hey, watch it.
Yes. So there you go. So what else we got? I'm going to just scan the chat room here for a second. James says, supposedly in perfect counter orbit to Earth, there's another planet that is always line of sight blocked by the sun, which is interesting. We've never really seen it. It's behind there. Is that what they're calling the 10th planet that's out there, James? I'm curious. I don't know for sure on this. See, there's astronomy and there's astrology. And astronomy, I'm into somewhat. Astrology, quite a bit. Let's see.
Well, what is the difference?
Astronomy. I used to say this back when I was in religious studies seminary training, and you weren't supposed to do astrology. And astrology is horoscopes, tarot, psychic stuff, and all of that. And reading the stars is a part of your life, and so on. Astronomy was supposed to be the scientific study of the universe, of the stars, the solar system, and all of that. Not in a prognosticating or a psychic sense. So astronomy was, I always said, as I heard one teacher put it, astronomy is for me because I'm a Christian and I don't look at, and astrology is for all those other negative sinning types. So there you go. So
got it. Thank you.
Yeah, Pluto's a planet. Didn't they just say Pluto is not a planet now? That Pluto's a moon or something? That's what James says. I still believe Pluto is a planet, so I'm crazy, he says. So, all right. Why do you like this Star Trek? Says Doug Stack. Doug Stack, you're going to be banned for a week now. So.
Off with his head.
Off with his head, exactly.
Off with his head.
All right, so Randall, it's good to have you on. I'm gonna take you off now. I'm gonna let you go, unless you got something big you want to talk about and we haven't hit it yet.
No, man, I'm all ears and tuned in.
Right on. Well, I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna play a little ad sequence here while I go warm up my coffee. So, Randall, thanks for coming in, brother. Good to have met you yesterday. Great to have you on the show.
Thank you, man. Glad to be here.
All right. See you, brother. All right, folks. Here's what we're going to do at the moment. I am going to go fill up my coffee, and hopefully we can do this over the next few seconds. So, oops, let me get rid of, I've still got Doug Stack up there being blasphemous. Let's take his blasphemy down, his heresy down. And now I'm going to go get some coffee. Sit tight.
Are you looking for a really awesome and amazing graphic designer? How about an illustrator or a photographer? This is Raini Roberts, and I wanted to tell you how you can get my designer, illustrator husband, Scotty Roberts, to work for you on your project. Do you have an awesome self-published book but no cover, or even worse, a cover that really sucks? Do you need a kick-ass logo for your company or some f***ing awesome graphic designs for your ads or website? Then get in touch with my husband for the best f***ing awesome kick-ass design and illustration. He knows his stuff, and he's been at this for more years than I've been alive. Go to ScottAllenRoberts.com. That's Scott with 2 T's, ALANROBERTS.com to take a look at his online portfolio of work, or call 651-468-8115. Now go out and kick some ass with some kick-ass graphic design.
Hire my dad so he can take me to Disneyland.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I've got my coffee all warmed up. I hope you have your coffee, too. Here, just a second. Good stuff. And welcome back to the show. It's great having Randall on. I just met Randall yesterday on the phone. And so a great little Star Trek conversation. So glad to have him here. And so I want to thank Randall for being in here. And so now we're going to move on to a little thing that I pulled up this morning. It was this leaked UFO. With all the UFO talk going on lately, is there going to be disclosure, as they say, folks? We have suspected for many, many years that there is, and there have been people that have been working on alien and UFO disclosure from the government. What is going on? What has been hidden from us? Has anything been hidden from us? Do we know just as much as the government knows? I think somebody said they saw some of the documents for disclosure, and there were whole pages of type with everything but like a phrase all blacked out. It's like, what kind of disclosure is that? If there is disclosure, that's going to happen at all. Do you think that there are, we all know there's UFOs. There's no denying that. There's UFOs. All a UFO is an unidentified flying object. Or what do they call them now? Now they've changed it to, I don't know, UADs, UDLs, URLs, ARLs, RALs, IADs, IUDs. What are they called? Somebody knows that. Can't remember what they're calling them now. UFOs. They're taking the stigma off by updating the abbreviation. UAP, there it is. I knew somebody would did. Thank you, Master Finn. And by the way, welcome. I don't think I said welcome to you earlier. And this disclosure is going to be similar to something we all do in the bathroom every day, says Roger Rabbit. You know what, Roger? You might be right. I have no idea. There it is. Disclosure is going to be similar to something we all do in a bathroom every day. And then he's got the pile oh shit emoji. So, Romeldian, see ya. Glad you could be here. And probably filled with redaction, says Matt Finn. And I think you're probably right. And that's the thing, Audrey. That's what I was just saying. And you said it very succinctly. UFO, UAP doesn't necessarily mean it's extraterrestrial. Could be our own technology in the United States. It could be. Oh, and there's a question for y'all. Do you actually think that some of the technology we're working on, that we're back engineering alien technology, which is something that Rob Lear, what was his first name? Bob, not Lear, Lazar. Bob Lazar talked about. And back engineering. That they started in the Area 51 area, which is probably nothing left there now. But Skinwalker Ranch, says Morgan Snow. Yeah, where is Leslie this morning? I'm not sure. I haven't seen her this morning yet, by the way. And so there's all this information out there, and they're looking for disclosure. And meaning the government knows something, and we want to know what the government knows. And there's all the questions with all the movies over the last 20 years of aliens and alien invasion and aliens coming here and working together with aliens and things as silly as Men in Black, those movies and stuff like that. And we have all this stuff there that we have to ask the question, is there something to it? Is the government leaking that out? Is the government behind all the prepping the public for the possibility of alien life out there? And there are many who believe that there is already a galactic federation out there, like you see in Star Trek, the Galactic Federation of planets and of life species, different species. It wasn't Carl Sagan one of those people that believed there was a federation out there. And when you look at the probability, and we've mentioned this before, it's old news on this show, the probability of there being tens of billions of solar systems out there, galaxies out there, that are full of billions of solar systems. If there is a great originator I believe in the originator. If there's a creator, as in the biblical sense, would there have been life created everywhere else? Is there a huge variety of life? And that the revelations of the Bible and the scriptures are all for this planet. But there's other planets. There's other things going on. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Because there's no way to, you can surmise, you can theorize, you can speculate, you can notion, but you can't prove any of it. Hey, Teresa Danton, I just said I saw your hi, Scotty. Good to see you, Teresa. So we have no idea. There's no way to prove that yet. All we can do is speculate. So there's the question. What is there to disclose? And is there disclosure out there? It's interesting. I heard former President Trump talking in an interview with, I think it was Dan Bongino, sometime last week. And I just heard a little clip where Bongino was asking him, what about alien disclosure? You were the president. And he says, well, Trump's whole attitude is one of, well, I choose to believe the things I can see and, that are here. He says, I haven't seen it, so it's tough for me. And he says, which tells me he's probably telling you he hasn't really seen anything that convinces him one way or the other about alien disclosure in the government. Maybe he wasn't that interested in it and didn't really pursue it all that much. But his opinion is, he says, if it exists, it exists. If it doesn't, it doesn't. He says it doesn't float his boat either way, doesn't change his mind about anything. And so I'm kind of that way too. But wouldn't it be interesting if we had alien disclosure, if we found out, what do they say? There's like 238 species of aliens already living on this planet, that there's already governmental, not institution, what's the word I'm looking for? Governmental installations of kinds that have all these aliens already there. That'd be interesting to find out. Is it all fantasy? Is it all hearsay? Is it all distractionary? But I've often said, what would happen to our world governments and to war on this planet, all of that kind of stuff, if we found out we're only one of many species out there? What if we found out suddenly there's a galactic federation already in place and we're the new kids on the block? What would that do to our hostilities toward each other? Be interesting. Morgan Snow said X-Files. Yeah, exactly. Matt says the Italians and Brazilian army military has their own public experiences they've talked about. Roger Rabbit just kind of said exactly the kind of thinking I've got on this. I would occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. Oh, that was Ronald Reagan said that back in the 80s. I remember that. And people often say, he slipped and said something he wasn't supposed to say. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. That's pretty interesting stuff. And I believe they'd be multidimensional for sure, says Matt Finn. Had to say what correlation there is between space and dimensions. Right. And now we used to say, didn't we say that aliens could never come here because to get here, the distances they would have to travel would be infinitely impossible to traverse because we can't exceed the speed of light or something. Well, what if there's a kind of propulsion we don't know about? There's the big question. That's come up lately too. Teresa Danton says angels and messengers in old scriptures, star people in Indian cultures. There's definitely something to it. Exactly. And a theme that I learned in Star Trek long ago as a kid was that idea that perhaps space travelers, explorers, were deemed as gods by ancient humanity. Where it was a huge life adventure, and you may not return alive if you just walk to the next village. What's going to eat you on the way? What's beyond the mountains, kind of thing. And in that day and age, where we were painting on cave walls, what would happen if a starship landed on our planet, a starship of sorts? There's the big question. Did these things happen? Did we call ancient space explorers gods, angels, devils, demons, everything in between? Ryan Gales says, hey, Ryan, he says almost every airline pilot claims to have seen UFOs. That's very true. Let's see what else we got here. I'm just looking back at your comments over here in the chat room. Matthew Sainsbury says in 1984, Barbados seems to have had an encounter. I heard the radars here were going nuts with fiery objects in the sky. They called the U.S. and said they were not involved. It wasn't born yet. And of course, there's a lot of mistaking natural events, comets and things like that. Fragments coming in through the atmosphere. Hey, Rockin' Rhonda, I see you there. Good to see you. I almost called you baby. Sorry about that. I see you there, baby. That's what I say to my wife. So sorry about that. Didn't mean to slip that out. But Rockin' Rhonda, good to see you. I haven't seen you for a while. Let's see. What does Audrey say? Matthew, other great channels are the Unidentified Celebrity Review and Somewhere in the Skies. And it probably shows you're looking at. And Rockin' Rhonda says, hey, bro. So going back to this little article, this leaked video that reportedly shows a swarm of UFOs circling the U.S. Navy combat ship, and the Pentagon's investigating it. And so the Pentagon's investigating a video that was revealed to the internet this week, purportedly showing a swarm of UFOs that was circling a U.S. Navy combat ship. And that was just this week. And the leaked footage reportedly shows a mysterious event captured on the radar aboard the USS Omaha that took place 2 years ago, July of 2019. And Jeremy Corbell, he's a filmmaker behind the UFO documentary Bob Lazar, Area 51 and Flying Saucers. A great documentary, by the way. He posted a video that was allegedly recorded from the Combat Information Center of the USS Omaha off the coast of San Diego. And in the 14-second video clip that was posted to YouTube on Thursday of this last week, a swarm of at least 14 unidentified flying objects were spotted on radar circling the Independence-class littoral combat ship. So, holy shit, they were saying. They're moving fast. They're turning around. An unidentified man is heard saying as the unidentified craft reached a speed of 158 miles per hour after traveling only 46 miles per hour earlier. Then one of the unidentified aerial phenomena splashed into the Pacific Ocean, and the Navy deployed a submarine to track the object, but no wreckage was discovered. The Pentagon's Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, they actually have an Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, is investigating the latest UFO video, and the Pentagon spokesperson, Susan Gough, G-O-U-G-H, like Van Gogh, told the Daily Caller, this is where I'm getting this article from, that is Ben Shapiro's organization, that we're looking into it, Gough confirmed. The video was taken by Navy personnel, and that the UAPTF included in it their ongoing examinations. And Corbell has released several videos taken by U.S. Navy personnel, some of which have been authenticated by the Pentagon. And earlier this month, Corbell released a video of another UAP encounter with the U.S. Navy. And the Pentagon confirmed that the footage of a spherical UFO flying off the coast of California near the USS Omaha is authentic. And the UFO is believed to be a transmedium vehicle, a craft that's capable of traveling in air and water. And so in April, Corbell released a UFO video of a triangular-shaped object hovering over the USS Russell while sailing off the coast of San Diego. And the Pentagon confirmed that the pyramid-shaped UAP footage from 2019 was genuine. So these are authentic photos and video from actual military encounters with UFOs, generated to educate high-level intelligence officers within our military on the nature and presentation of the UAP UFO phenomenon, Corbell wrote this in his Extraordinary Beliefs website. And so the U.S. intelligence agencies are expected to release what they know about UFOs to Congress next month. There's the big disclosure thing. What we know about UFOs. And it'll be interesting to see what's redacted and what isn't. And so last December, former President Donald Trump signed the federal omnibus spending bill, which included a provision that the Pentagon must reveal that what they know about UAPs. That's Donald Trump did that for you, folks, whether you like him or not. And he says, you have to tell the people. You have to let people know if this is real or not. And so the Office of Naval Intelligence and its Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, UAP, Task Force, so the UAPTF, are required to present by Trump's bill, required to present senators on Intelligence and Armed Service Committee. And the government agencies have until June 25th to reveal their findings of the UFOs. You wonder, are people scrambling at the Pentagon over this? You think? Or is it just all ready to go? Okay, we'll just show them what we got. What's going on behind the scenes, do you wonder, with that? In March, former Director of National Intelligence, John Ratcliffe, gave a preview of the upcoming UAP report in which he said some of the UFO sightings are, quote, difficult to explain, end quote. Why do we have to explain them? Why don't we just take them at face value? So there are instances where we don't have good explanations for some of the things we've seen. And when that information becomes declassified, says Radcliffe, I'll be able to talk about that a bit more. So that's interesting stuff, I think, on disclosure. That's not everything there is to know about disclosure, but there it is. And so if you've got some more information, you want to talk about disclosure, here's the link again. I'm putting it in the chat room. You can call into the show. And we'll put you up on the screen, and we'll talk about this stuff. What do you think, guys? Do you think there's anything to... the military's testing drone aircraft against their own forces, says James. James, do you believe that, or do you think that's just one of the theories out there? That's the big question. Is this something's going on, says Matthew Sainsbury. Ryan says, a retired military colonel once told me that the U.S. military tech is about 100 years beyond what civilians have. So I don't know how you gauge that because we haven't been to the future. Or have we? Teresa says, I've got video of one flying at me and hovering, and it looks like a Merkaba, a spinning cube in a blue ball. That's interesting. So what are these things that we're seeing? Are they all domestic? Is there nothing? There's nothing out there in the vastness of space. There's nothing out there that can reach us out of the billions upon billions of solar systems within the billions upon billions of galaxies that are out there. Nothing. There's nothing. And if there is, it can't reach us anyway. How do we know this? We don't. That's the thing. We really don't know. What is Matt Finn says, I personally believe Lou to be part of Project Bluebeam, and they'll only disclose what they know of those experiences, but nothing more. And we know there's more. Look at what we used to believe about ghosts and things like that. And as time goes on, we're finding out there's a lot more to detect. There's a lot more there. James says, fly your drones around these unknowing soldiers to see their reaction if they want to detect them. And if they detect them. What do you do when they're larger than a drone, though? What if they're the size of a house? What is that? Who's sending those then? Matt says, I bet, but I think there are people in the know, and they use him as a smokescreen to say, here's our guy. He knows what we know. I can't remember who that was in reference to. Oh, Senator John McCain had to investigate the topic. Yeah. So Lou is limited by what it can show. Yeah. So soft controlled disclosure. Yeah, that's probably what we're going to get. Soft controlled. I remember, when was it? The 50-year anniversary of Roswell, which was 47. So this is back in 97. In my old man mind, it seems more recent than that, but that's 25 years ago. They had on the 50th anniversary of the Roswell incident, the crash in Roswell. They had the U.S. Air Force was telling, basically they had press conferences and all of this, saying how, it was nothing. It was an air balloon still, or a weather balloon. And then they started talking about the bodies that were found, the alien bodies. And they said, no, and they showed old footage. No, we were doing testing with parachute dummies. And that's what people think they saw when they saw bodies. They saw these. But the problem is that the testing with the parachute dummies didn't take place for almost another decade. Yet here's the Air Force trying to use that as an excuse for what people thought were bodies that they found. And so if they say they were little alien bodies, wouldn't an air test dummy with the military be life size and the weight of an actual person? I don't know. These are all speculations. You never know. Susie Q is in the wings, she says. She's in the wings. You called in? I don't see you here, Susie Q. You're not in here. Try again, darling. If you're there, call in. Try one more time. Here's that link again, folks. You can click on that link and come on in. I see Randy Jackson is still here. Randall Jackson is still here. He's still hanging in the wings, but I don't see. I'm going to kick you from the studio, Randy. If you want to prevent this person from rejoining, you should ban. I'm not banning you. I'm just kicking you off so you're out of the wings in the studio. I don't see you here, Susie Q. Let's see. Nope. You are not hanging in my wings. You're not there. There's just me. Here, look, let me show you guys something. I'll share my screen with you. Share screen. Boom. Share. Okay. Oh, Scotty. It says Scotty's there because that just popped up because I'm sharing my screen. You would be right here, Susie Q. See where I'm pointing? If you were here. Yes, I just called. It's not showing you, and I'm not sure why. Somebody else call me real quick. And let's see if you pop in. Somebody call me right now. Click on that link and see if you're still here and see if you show up. Maybe it was an old link. I don't know. I just shared this link and I'm not seeing it. Somebody else. There's Randy Jackson. Randall Jackson. See, and I can add him to the stream just like that. There's James in Louisiana is here. Here, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Susie Q, I don't see you. I hate to say, because there's James and there's Randall. It's not a phone call, by the way. You gotta click on this link. I hear my own voice chopping up in there, or somebody's chopping up. Oh, James, you're talking, but you're pretty choppy. There's Steve Clark. Device is not connected. It says you need to connect.
Yeah, that's probably.
So, Randall, I'm going to let you go. Nice, Susie.
Okay, buddy. See
you later, Randy. Thanks for calling in. And I see James. James, you might have to turn down your sound a little bit. I might be just picking up a lot of feedback. Let me bring Susie Q in. Add to stream. Hey, Susie Q. Susie, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but my Bluetooth isn't working.
Uh-oh.
But hello. Hello.
Why, hello?
I just have you on speaker, but it's relatively quiet in the background, so that'll work.
Okay. All right. That's fine. As long as we don't pick it up. Same thing can happen on my end. That's why I got to put headsets on sometimes so I don't get the feedback coming in.
Okay. So hopefully this will all work, but I have a UFO story for you.
Tell us your UFO story.
Well, this is kind of what led me to you.
Hold on a second. I have screaming children. Y'all hear that? Hey, Ellery, everybody on the radio can hear you screaming. You want to tone it down? Thank you. Or I'll have to I'll close my door. You go ahead and start telling your story, Susie. I can hear you. I'm just going to close my door.
All right. Okay, so like the whole reason that I'm on the internet and got a computer of my own was because about oh my goodness, it's probably been 8 or 9, maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not that long, maybe 5 years ago. I went upstairs to go to sleep, and my husband wasn't home, and my girlfriend was downstairs. And I went to sleep upstairs in the cloud because it's got memory foam, and I really wanted to get some good sleep, man. And I went upstairs, and I was just dozing off, and I was awakened to my body shaking on the bed, like I was bouncing on the bed, like there was an earthquake or something.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what the hell, you know? And then all of a sudden I'm just like thinking, oh, this is a waking, you know, falling dream. It's just a falling dream. Go back to sleep, you know.
Sure.
Okay, within less than 15 minutes later again, I'm bouncing on the bed, and I'm a good sized girl with a memory foam. Like, you don't spill wine when you set those glasses on the memory foam, right?
Yeah.
And I'm literally bouncing off the bed, like getting off the bed like 4 inches. Like it's ridiculous.
Wow.
You're on like I'm in an earthquake, right? And you don't hear anything. I'm just the motion. I'm holding on to the side of because we got a king size mattress inside of a waterbed. And I was like holding on for dear life on the side of this freaking board, you know, thinking, what the hell's going on? And I'm like, oh, cut it out. And I'm thinking, okay, it's just another waking dream or a falling dream. I mean, you know, and I'm feeling all these feelings, and I'm going back to sleep. It's all right, Susie, don't worry about it. You know, just watch over me, Jesus, and all that stuff, you know. And I don't know if I turned the light on at that time, but I think I did. I'm a little bit nervous being on the radio again. But I turned the light on. Yeah, I think I did turn the light on after the second time I turned the light on, right? And I'm like, okay, now, you know, the light's on. We're good. And I go back to sleep. And I'll be damned if it didn't happen again. And this time I know I'm awake because the light's on. And the room is going up and down. The room, I can see the room going up and down. You know what I mean? Like I'm moving, man. And I'm screaming, and I'm like, Jesus, save me. I mean, I was a born again Christian at this time. I mean, please save me, oh Lord, what's going on? And all this stuff, you know, and cast it out in Jesus' name. And I'm telling you, you get the hell out of here and all this. I mean, I cussed it out, and all the authority that I've ever had in Jesus' name threw at this thing. And I'm like, okay, then we're done. Going back to sleep now. And it happened again. And I didn't say a word. I just held on for dear life. It felt like forever. Scared out of my wits, I went downstairs. My girlfriend never heard a thing. And I was in shock. They got me Bible on tape. My kids got me a cell phone. I started doing research. Found Rex Bear. Found Jeff Dougherty. Found R. Wayne Steiger. Found you, sir. And I've been searching ever since. It started with the aliens, and then I got out of the Abrahamic trap. And all this conspiracies, I've done nothing but research for 3 years, and it's overwhelming to my soul and my heart sometimes. There's something out there. Something got a hold of me. Something. It didn't physically touch me, but it was moving me. And it's not to touch me ever again. So I'm a goddess now, and nothing touches me. I used to be haunted, you guys. This is a big thing for me to say, but I mean, because people don't, you know, they think it's mental health. But I used to be the kind of girl that would say, you demons, come away. You come away from that person. and I would confront them, and I would have no fear. But when that thing shook me in the bed, that was true fear. I never felt fear like that. But I don't fear it anymore. I got myself back. I don't fear cancer. I don't fear death. I don't fear the Abrahamic God. And I don't fear the fake aliens, the real aliens, or interdimensional beings. You guys stand up there in your sovereignty. There's good ones out there. There's good in everything. Absolutely everything. We know this, guys. We know it. Deep down in your soul, to the raindrop, to the little things inside of a flower. Just hold on to it. Hold on to that. And remember when, like it's true, when this door closes, another one opens. Doors open for me all the time. The Creator is good, and He's pure love. And He rewards us. He really, truly does. He rewards me with the family I'm talking to now, with you, Captain, all of you. And I videotaped something over my house when I was doing research with my phone. It's just a little orb, and it flew over my house. I've always seen things in the sky. It's real. They're out there, but they're gonna fake it. They're gonna fake it. They're gonna bring it. There's gonna bring the alien Jesus, and we're not gonna really know who's who and what's what. So you'll have to use your discernment. It's just gonna be frightening, I suppose. But I'm gonna try to show no fear, and you guys can too. And sorry if that got kind of carried away. Did I lose you, Captain? Hello? I don't know. I lost the captain. I don't see him. Maybe he went to get coffee. Can you guys hear me? Oh my. Okay, well, I guess we're live and I've got the show. Well, come on, Captain. You know, well, that's kind of interesting, isn't it, guys? Did my energy kick you off, sir? I suppose we'd have to start a new stream, or you'll have to come back in. Well, maybe I could tell another story. Ooh.
Can you hear me, Susie?
Oh, there he is.
You know what? That's interesting. The broadcast kept going, even though my kids unplugged the internet. So my kids were arguing, and somebody unplugged the internet, and it totally disconnected me from the show. But the show was still going in the background, even though I couldn't access it. So I saw people responding to your story, and I thought, oh, well, I guess you're still able to talk. So I missed every single bit of your story because my children, who were arguing over who gets the remote for the TV, somehow unplugged the internet. So I was gone.
Wow.
So great story, I'm sure, according to what everybody else is saying, but I missed it. So I can't comment on it. So,
well, that's okay, sir. It was a great story, and I'll have more of them for you. Yes.
Thank you. You were actually the guest host for about 5 minutes there.
Well, I didn't mind this. This is really good for me, and I do want to tell you guys, I think I'm going to try to start doing an uplifting video every day.
That's phenomenal.
Try to put something out there, and because people are so cruel. I will apologize, but I may not have I may not have comments. I'm just going to make my statement. You know.
Yes.
And if people don't like it, then because I don't do Facebook for that reason, I think if I got a troll or I got someone who was cruel, that it would bring the energy down that I'm trying to bring up in the world, and I don't have time for it.
Absolutely.
I truly don't.
Well, what's that whole notion of we don't give things life and they won't take on a life? and so you just don't give them life. And
we can make our
there
world is wherever you are, you guys. Remember, that's your oasis. Put a bubble of protection over your area. Make it sovereign. Remember, you are in your own autonomous zone. Make it your own autonomous zone.
there you go. That makes sense.
Thank you all so much. I love you all so much. Thank you for being my friends and my family. And
thank you for continuing to go on. I'm glad that my disconnection over here did not stop yours. So the show kept playing, which is a good thing. And I dropped out. So I'm back now, and I'll have to listen back to hear your story a little later. So thanks for doing it, Susie. James says Susie was opening up unfiltered and carried everything wonderfully.
well,
So there you go.
I'll try to call in again soon, sir.
Teresa says, Sister Susie's Q stepping forward to share your story helps others. Love you, she says.
I love you too, sister.
And so there we go. Thanks, Susie Q. We'll talk to you soon.
You know it. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. All right, folks, if you want to join the show and hopefully not have me get disconnected again, and you're carrying the show all by yourself, that's a new one, isn't it? The host gets disconnected and the guest keeps sharing. I've just pasted it again into the chat room. There is the link to today's show. If you want to call in, if you've got a story or an account or something you want to talk about, such as Susie Q. I didn't hear everything she had to say, sorry to say. Even though I was able to finally tune in on my phone so I could leave you all a message that I got disconnected. So we've got naughty kids out there that disconnected the internet. And so there you go. All right. Somebody's grunting and groaning outside trying to get into the bathroom out there. Somebody's locked them out. So this is what happens when Rainey's away and I'm on the show, or we both step away for a minute. The kids take over. And what happens? It's like Lord of the Flies out there in my main room of my house. So yeah, there we go. Where were we, everybody? I'm glad you enjoyed Susie Q's story. What do we got here? Anybody else want to call in? I posted that link. I'll put it one more time here so you can see it. So come on in if you want. If you've got a story, an account you want to talk about, something you want to bring up. I can't address some of the issues that Susie brought up because I have no idea what she said. Here's James in Louisiana. Let's see if we've got James back to normal here. How you doing, James?
Hey, hopefully I don't have the reverb I did last time.
There you go. You don't. You're good. You're clean now.
Okay. Sorry about that last time. I don't know. My phone messed up horribly on me. Now,
That's
one
all
thing
right.
I
I
remember
understand.
big time was my father was 5th Special Forces in Vietnam in the early 70s.
Yeah.
And he had GPS for the military. And the GPS that they had in the military at that time in the 70s could tell within, almost exactly where he was. When GPS first released to the public, the civilian population, you were lucky if the GPS could tell you if you were 10 feet from the spot you were at.
Yes.
So one of the things we have to realize is, the government does have technology advanced beyond what the civilian people have, and they make use of, and then it kind of trickles down. So it's one of those where, the B-2 stealth bomber, the V-wing shaped bomber with perfect stealth.
Yes.
They actually, some internet sleuths actually figured out a way by finding where it was disrupting cell phone interference in towers.
Oh, really?
Flights of B-2 bombers across American airspace, just by simply looking at, here's this linear line of all of a sudden all these cell phones are trying to connect to a tower and they suddenly have interference and can't connect to the tower because as the B-2 was flying through, it was blocking the signal.
Wow. See, I didn't know that. I don't know. I don't keep up on a lot of that stuff. So I think it's because my area of research is so different than UFOs and all of that, that I catch gleanings and I see things and I catch little bits and pieces of the news, but I don't research it. So I don't know a lot about it. So
I got a little bit of advantage because, you know, I had a father that grew up in the military that had access to some of this at certain times. So the thing I think of with a lot of the UFO stuff, you remember the Super Bowl when they did the drones and they had all the drones flying in sequence doing all the different light ups?
I do.
You know, if they're going to advertise that, they can have all these drones, you know, flying these computer program sequences and organized to do the Super Bowl show.
Yes.
What can a weaponized, you know, obviously the military is going to think of, you know, if we can put weapons on drones and, you know,
well, I think we've already done it.
The military has.
Wasn't that a big problem in the Obama administration? A lot of criticism he got for making airstrikes with drone strikes. So.
Yeah. In fact, one of the big things was when they drone striked the, I think it was a wedding that had an American civilian that was there.
Yes.
And the government executed an American without having a trial for him.
Yes.
But do we honestly believe that's the first time the government's done that? I mean,
no.
Look right now to the people that they're arresting for the January 6th insurgency, where nobody brought any weapons and the police moved barricades and opened doors to let people through. And a lot of those people that are arrested are sitting right now up in Washington in solitary confinement in some of the absolutely horrible, worst prison conditions you can imagine.
And the insurrection caterwauls from those making them, it's politics. It's just to play a political game. And there was no insurrection there. I got to tell you something. I tend to believe that if Trump was behind an insurrection, he would have won.
Judging by the gun rights rally in Virginia, if you look at what happened in DC and you try to compare 2 and 2,
yes,
there's no way to compare it.
That's it.
If American citizens came to overthrow the government and to take hold, we aren't going to leave our weapons at home.
Yeah, that's very true. If there was an insurrection, I got to tell you, and I'm not saying I'm part of one. I'm not saying I would lead one or be part of one. So, big brother who's listening, calm down a bit. But I'm saying if I was part of the beginning of a civil war or an insurrection against my government, I'm not going to show up to a gunfight with a knife. I would show up with a weapon.
Many options of legal redress for our grievances. Those have not been exhausted yet. There is absolutely no point to try to do an insurrection and bring guns against our government. We still have many courts that we can go through. We haven't hit that point yet. And as long as you have to go through the process and address every legal recourse before you exhort to violence, and violence is the absolute last issue. And
let me ask you your opinion on this. And folks, this will smack a little bit political. Don't worry about it. It's also a civics lesson. By people protesting and perhaps wanting to stop the Congress from making a vote on January 6th, let's say that was their intent, to stop the vote non-violently, to enter the chambers and not allow a vote to be taken. Is that a form of civil disobedience? Is that one of the steps you would take along the way to say, look, we're not violent, we're not bringing weapons, we're not trying to overthrow, we're not vandalizing statues? They didn't even do what BLM does on a regular basis, which is topple statues and destroy them. They didn't touch Statue Hall, the Hall of Statues in the Capitol building. They went into protest. Is that one of those steps you think needs to be taken? And by the way, I got Ryan Gale hanging in the wings. I'll get to you, Ryan, here. Hold on. So what do you think, James?
Well, I remember back during the Obama years when the Democrats that were in office held their little sit-down protest in the middle of the House, and they camped and they ordered pizzas and they did all the tweets showing pictures. So, considering that's the people's house, I'm sorry if, people of one political belief can literally camp out in the middle of the floor, yet we, the people, can't at the same time walk in and express what we're trying to say.
Exactly. By the way, Susie Q. Susie Q says, "Got to be careful what you say. You'll get demonetized." And I'm saying, I'll respond to that by saying, I won't be demonetized. I don't make enough money off my monetization. Now, if I had 1 million viewers and I said the same exact thing, I'd probably get demonetized. So,
well, we all know that, if you look at Twitch, the leader of Twitch and all their content and for their abuse stuff is somebody that believes they're a deer.
Steve Clark, by the way, says, please be careful. Eyes are watching. You don't want to lose your channel. If YouTube wants to take my channel away for saying that I don't think what happened on January 6th was actual insurrection, then YouTube has got some pretty lame thinkers on their staff. That's just an opinion of mine. I'm not promoting violence. I'm not promoting anything. I'm saying if there was an actual, I'm talking hypothetical. It was like, and I brought this up before, what happened during the American Revolution? You had people that were part of the revolutionaries, what became the Continental Army, that they would go out and they would stop in churches and try to recruit people to join their cause. That's all I'm talking about, is if there was an actual cause to stand against a tyrannical government. Here, let me put it in terms that YouTube can find palatable. If I wanted to raise an insurrection against Donald Trump when he was a sitting president, I would have gone to the Capitol with weapons. I wouldn't have gone shouting nasty things from a crowd. So there are ways to perform an insurrection, ways to perform a coup d'etat. There are ways to start a civil war. And let's put this all in the context of against Donald Trump as sitting president. There you go. So now I've just made it okay because I've said if I led an insurrection against Donald Trump, I would have done it the right way. What we saw on January 6th was not an insurrection.
Ways to legally redress grievances that haven't been exhausted. Until all of those are exhausted, you have to go through the steps.
Right. Hey, I've got Ryan Gale is joining us here too. How you doing, Ryan?
Let him have the big screen and let me go, and I'll listen on YouTube.
All right, sounds good, James. Thanks for joining me.
Thank
you. Hear me all right?
I can hear you just fine, brother.
It's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. I haven't seen your face to face like this. You've got more hair than you had before.
Yeah. So
is that just fine?
That's just the reflection.
Ryan and I, as you all know, I've mentioned it before, we used to be part of the same reenacting living history group, the 42nd Royal Highlanders. Mm-hmm. And I don't think you and I have seen each other face to face live in at least 10 years.
I think the last time I saw you, you gave me a copy of your Tamil Hair book.
Oh,
the Renaissance Festival.
Boy, that was 2007. And that was 2007 when I had those out there and was doing that stage show. So it's been 14 years since we've seen each other face to face, live in living color.
Yeah. So I was going back to the aliens thing.
Mm-hmm.
About a year ago, I wrote a book, kids book, on the search
alien
for alien
life. The search for alien. That's your book?
Yeah. It's for
neat. That's like that publishing house.
Middle school kids.
Yes.
Nonfiction. So you can't really talk about the subject without talking about the Fermi paradox and the Drake equation, which you probably know about.
Yes.
So the Fermi paradox is about how many planets in the universe could support life, and the Drake equation talks about how many or why we haven't seen them.
Yes. Because why do you think it is? Summarize the Drake equation for us very quickly.
It talks about the number of civilizations in the Milky Way galaxy. It just talks about our galaxy. The rate of formation of stars suitable for development of intelligent life, the fraction of those stars that have planetary systems, going all the way down to how many civilizations develop technology and could contact us, how many like have a desire to contact people, and how many just survive long enough to even be able to do that. So there's all these equations, or an equation with all these factors about why we haven't seen aliens, contacted. They've been able to detect them.
Hey, what about your book? Where can people pick that up?
On Amazon, I think, Barnes & Noble.
Why don't you flash that title again up
even
there?
Target, I think, is selling them.
It's called "In the Search for Alien Life." I'm going to put that in the chat room.
Yeah, it's published by Capstone here in Minnesota. Capstone
Alien
Publishing.
Life by Ryan Gale.
The publisher is mycapstone.com.
Okay. I think if they just put in the title and your name, they'll find it over on Amazon.
I think Target sells it online, not in their bookstores.
So this was written toward middle school kids, right?
Yep. Yeah, so it's written at that age, that reading level.
The same publisher, and they had wanted me to write that book on.
That's right. Scientology, was it?
Scientology. Yeah, I was trying to think of the names. Scientology, and I wrote it, and they thought it was a little too cerebral, and they had me go back and rewrite it. So I tried to simple it down a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe I have a tough time trying to write really difficult or detailed stuff to middle schoolers.
Yeah, it's hard trying to write these complicated subjects for young readers.
Do you get paid through Amazon, or do you get paid through your publisher?
I wrote this through my employer, so I don't get paid.
Okay, it's through his employer, the publisher, so he's already been paid. Do you get any royalties on it?
No,
for sales.
I don't do it for the money. I do it because it's fun. I like.
Oh, there you go.
I like passing on knowledge.
There you go, James. He said. James asked if we buy it off of Amazon, does he get paid too? No, he's already been paid for it in full.
I don't care about the money. I am all about knowledge and passing on knowledge.
I'm all about knowledge, and if I was writing as a profession, then I'd be very interested in what I get paid.
Right.
I still get royalties off of some of my books.
Yeah, I self-publish books, so that's where I make my money.
Yeah. And self-publishing, by the way, it's a great way to make a little extra cash.
Yeah.
These books, like these, like my publisher has done this book on the Nephilim. Now, like this book, I wrote that in 2012, and wrote it in 2011, published in 2012, and even got my picture on the back.
Yeah.
But this book will sell for what do they have as a cover price? $16.99, and I get royalties still today from my publisher on this book, which is nice. I get a check a couple of times a year. Not big. I couldn't go, buy an estate in Scotland with it. But now you publish this book self-published. If you get a graphic design person, which you are, by the way, Ryan's also an artist and a graphic designer and an illustrator. You lay out the book yourself, and you lay out your cover, and you upload this stuff over on Amazon. I'm standing up.
Mm-hmm.
So you upload this at Amazon, and through a publisher, if they charge $16.99 for a book, you might get a couple of bucks per book once you get into that royalties stage as it sells. Now you publish yourself and you put the same price on the cover, $16.99. You might have to pay $7 to Amazon per book when it gets published, and the balance is, so you're making $10 per book. And so self-publishing a book like this is 6x9, roughly 200. This is 245 pages. That book, I could make a lot more money publishing it myself. But then again, when you got a publisher, you've also got the marketing department.
I do like self-publishing because at least for you and me, we can maintain creative rights over it.
Exactly.
Whereas if you use a publishing house, they have their own people, and
It's
You
like
might-
Tam O'Hare right now. The Rollicking Adventures of Tam O'Hare was published originally by Morgan James in black and white.
right.
Now I've got the rights and I republish it in color. And so I take everything that comes in on that. I don't sell an awful lot of them. And I have to have them at a high price, $24.95, because it's all color on the inside.
Right.
And so I don't make much. I make like 30 cents per book, something like that. Otherwise, I'd have to have like a $35 cover price. And
Right.
who's going to buy it?
I've had a lot of people come to me and say, I want to write a book, but I think there's already 20 books on the subject.
Yeah.
And I say, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah, that's a little different. My publisher now wants me to update Nephilim, and they want to do a second edition on it, and they want me to write a book on the Book of Enoch. So now what's neat is my book on the reptilians, that went to Spanish. So my publisher sold off the Spanish rights. La Historia Secreta de los Reptilianos. And so that's all in Spanish. And they've done extra things with their book. So they did it in Spanish. The Exodus Reality. We were just showing this last week. Our book on the Exodus I did with John Ward. That got printed in China.
Very nice.
And so, I don't know what dialect that is or anything, but it's all Chinese.
The only sad thing about writing is that point in your career where you find your first book in a used bookstore.
Yes. Oh, yeah. I've had a few of those. I found the Rollicking Adventures of Tam O'Hare, the original red covered edition. I found that in a used bookstore.
Yeah.
So, what's fun is going into like Barnes and Noble, the big bookstores, and you walk over to you have to check. You're an author, you check, and there's a little section in all the where'd they have me? I think they had me in the New Age books or the occult books or something. There's nothing occult in my books, but they had me in that weird section of books, right next to the science fiction and or the religious self-help books.
Yeah.
And there were all my books lined up in there, and you go, cool. It's right on the shelf next to Von Daniken and Coppens and all of these guys, UFO books and stuff like that. So
you ever go on WorldCat and see how many books we have around the world and around the country?
Yes. At one point, if this is what you're referring to, at one point, the rise and fall of the Nephilim shot up to, I was number 211 in book sales on Amazon. So 211 out of, at the time, almost 9 million books a day that they were selling.
Yep.
I was number 211. I thought that was pretty cool. And now I'm something like 6,450,000 or something.
Yeah. I got to sign off. But
I'm just curious to find out while I'm talking about it. If I go to Amazon and I look up the rise and fall of the Nephilim. Now, this isn't the only place where this book sells, but if I take a look on Amazon, rise and fall of the Nephilim, let's see what it says here. 220 ratings. Oh, that's just ratings. Bunch of reviews, 220 global reviews. Where does it say? Okay, so right now, this is the Audible, the audio book for the Nephilim. They published it in audio as well. 116,888 is the number I'm at with the Audible book out of 8 or 9 million available. And 1,304 in unexplained mysteries in books. So I rate 1,304 on the list in unexplained mysteries in books, and 1,396 in ancient and controversial knowledge, and number 476 in unexplained mysteries. So now I don't know if that's all just the audio. You can get the audio for $18 audiobook, $9.99 on Kindle. So I'm looking for the actual book itself, though. I want to know what the books are doing.
I'm going to log off, Scotty.
What's that?
Familiar duties are calling.
Oh, all right. Sorry, I got off on that rabbit trail there. And but Ryan, it's good to have you coming on the show. Thanks for showing up.
Yep, take care.
I appreciate it, brother.
Talk to you soon.
All right, see you soon. I got to get your book, by the way.
All right.
So everybody go look up his book. Take part in your familial duties and have fun.
Yep, take care.
See you, brother. All right. So there you go, folks. It's almost 11 o'clock. We got 10:51. We got time for another person if somebody wants to call in. Otherwise, we'll just start to do the falling action of the show today. And we'll be taking off soon and getting out of here and carrying on with the rest of our Memorial Day weekend. Y'all camping? Y'all watching this and texting from your tents or joining in the chat room from your tent? What's your plans for today and tomorrow, Memorial Weekend? We got our neighbors, John and Bree. They're going to have us over he's going to smoke some ribs. He's starting them today so we can eat them by noon tomorrow, 2 o'clock tomorrow. So that's going to be fun with our neighbors. And everyone makes you feel comfortable, says Teresa Dantone. Oops, I hit the wrong one. I have a 0 turn. I suck when I need to turn. Let's see. It skipped up on me. That's what's great about our family, Lucky Stone. Everyone makes you feel comfortable. Well, that's good. I'm glad. Thanks for saying that, Teresa. Let's see. And thanks to Ryan Gale. I think he's off doing familial duty, so he might miss that, but thanks for calling in. So there you go. Morgan Snow is going to veg all day today. I think I might do the same. It's a little overcast. We're going to get a little rain today, they said, but tomorrow's supposed to be, get this, sunny and 72 degrees. So it's supposed to be perfect tomorrow. Let's see. I just found your book in audio form free on YouTube. My book? Oh, probably. Is it the one I read? When I did that before we had the official radio show. I read through all my books, every single one of my books. If you go to this YouTube channel and scroll down, you'll see all of my books. I've read them. The Rise and Fall of the Nephilim, The Secret History of the Reptilians, The Exodus Reality. I've read those. I've read Tam O'Hare. They're all readings, and they're all in different episodes, and sometimes I do commentary along with them as well. So if you ever want to watch those, just scroll down on my YouTube page if you want to hear the book in audio form, or go pick it up on Amazon. That's cool. Thanks, James. It's good to know. And Teresa's trying to get some lawn work done in between the heavy rains. She's got 12 bags of mulch to disperse all over the lawn. You have fun with that. And so I think that's about all we got for today. Remember, Monday through Friday, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. West Coast, we have the Intrepid radio program. Come on in every night this week and join us. If you see the join button down below here, hit it. If you're not a member, you can become a member of this channel. Throws a couple of bucks at us every month, helps us maintain what we're doing. You can join for $2 a month, $5 a month, or $15 a month. Make your choice and go see what the perks are and stuff like that. So I want to thank you all for coming in. So, the Nephilim book. It's not your channel. It's someone else's channel. Oh, that's interesting. You'll have to send me the link to that one, James. I have to see who's playing the audio version of my book on their channel. So I don't care. It's kind of nice. PR is PR, but it'll be interesting to see. So Matt Finn says, love y'all, friends. Have a good day. Have a great Sunday. An exceptional Memorial Day. So, folks, I want to thank you all for being here. You know what? As always, live long and prosper.